What up? Happy Sunday to my Bad News people. It's Tall and Matt Curse just sitting here right by my side. Guys, what a treat today. Got Josh Videz, world famous artist, friend, father, human. Man, I'm so excited for you guys to listen to this kid's ride. I've watched him grow from literally a warehouse truck driver at the hundreds to an artist, to a clothing designer, to a creative director. His story is amazing, and it's gonna make you wanna get up off out of your seat and actually go do something with your life. We know the times are super rough right now. Some people don't wanna even think about anything or think about the future, but I'm telling you, this kid's ride is amazing, and I'm really, really excited for everyone to hear it. Again, thanks again for this small army we've built. You know, the following keeps going up daily, and we're so thankful. Thanks for the 5-star reviews, for the comments, people DMing. Jay, we good? All right. Well, we're back.
We're back again.
We're here with Josh Videz.
What up?
For those that always see his Instagram, says Josh Shula Vides, builds.
Vibes.
Yeah, vibes. Like, man, I know that guy. That guy's great.
The Videz guy?
Yeah, and people are like, how do you say his thing? I'm like, he even spells it out perfectly for you, just so you don't mess up.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Videz.
Yeah, like a little phonetic on his.
Well, it's funny. A lot of people don't even know what I look like because I don't post my face a lot.
Yeah. You're not an influencer.
Yeah, I'm not like Banksy or anything, but I just don't like. You know, I'm just not that guy.
Is there a reason you don't like to do that? Just because?
I don't know. I just never
want.
You know, like
he's too good looking.
Nah, I mean, when it makes sense. You know, like the other day I did something for Porsche, and they're like, "Yo, you got to post a photo of you with the car."
Right.
It's like, all right, I'll post that. I got paid for it, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not the guy that's like, "Here's my outfit.
Right.
This is what I'm doing today." You know, like looking to the side. You know, like I don't know. No offense to those people. Obviously, everyone's different, but I'd rather just post my work. You know, and let that speak for itself.
Which has been amazing, and you know, obviously seeing it everywhere for the last 2 years have been like strong, like crazy. Like I've known Josh for 10 plus years.
For sure.
You know, like I've watched him, you know, and he'll tell the story in a second, but I've literally watched him go from a warehouse kid to a sales rep, a creative director, and all of a sudden an artist. And it happened so fast for me, at least, to see Josh, and him and I have been super close since the day we met. And it's really cool to watch. But where did it start, Josh? Like, let's go back. Hundreds Warehouse.
So I started the brand called Classic when I was 19. Actually, exactly 10 years ago, we like printed our first like promo T-shirt. And so we were doing that, and at the time, the Hundreds had just posted that they bought their screen printer. And I remember we went up one day, and I was like, "Yo, you guys just bought the screen printer. Like, how can we get kind of plugged in?" They're like, "Oh, we'll introduce you. It's this guy named John. It's Ben's brother." I didn't even know Ben had a brother at the time. It's like, word. One thing led to another. We go up. It was in the Valley at the time, by like Norms.
Yep.
Go up, talk to John, meet him, meet Old Man and Rick, and they're in this like, you know, old ass fucking screen printer just pumping out Hundreds designs. And I was like, "Yo, we got a brand," and they're just like laughing, and they're like, "This is just like the Hundreds." They're like, because we came to this screen printer, used to be owned by another guy, and then we bought him out, and he was kind of laughing at us because we were trying to bring like 48 unit runs, right. Which you guys are doing now. He's like, "So I'm going to say yes to this because you guys are cool, whatever." So that's where it really started. And then like a few months later, you know, obviously every day I was going, I was like, "Yo, you guys got a job? You guys got a job?" John was like, "No, we don't have anything, dude." You know, I'm like, "What about the Hundreds?" He's like, no. I'm sure everybody was doing the same thing. And then just one day he like hits me and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Chilling." He's like, "Do you really want to work here?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Look, if you really want to work here, you start tomorrow, 8:00 in the Valley." I was living in Rancho at the time, my mom's house.
Yep.
$7 an hour. And I was like, "What am I going to do?" And he's like, "Why are you asking? Like, do you want the job or not?" I was like, "I'm there," you know?
Yep.
Wow.
Threw all this clothes in my Civic at the time, and my brother was living in LA. I called my brother. I'm like, "Can I crash your couch for, you know, until I figure this shit out?" He's like, "Yeah, whatever." Then I started the next day, but I wasn't even the van driver yet. I was just like, I showed up and John was like, go buy us cigarettes.
Oh my God.
You know, go get us lunch. Go clean the screens. Go.
You're a prospect.
Just do shit.
Yeah.
You know, clean this bench, even though no one's gonna sit on it. You know.
Stay busy.
Yeah, just that's it. I was like the gopher. So I did that for like a month, and then Bert, the guy who was driving the van at the time, disappears, which we ended up finding out he like goes to jail. And so the next day I show up and they're like, where the fuck is Bert? And da-da-da. Like they find the van, it got impounded, like the windows broken, like all this crazy shit.
Oh, wow.
John's like, we need you to drive to the hundreds in downtown, which I was like geeking out.
Yeah.
Cause I'd never, you know, was a huge fan. And I was like, word, he said, I'm gonna go with you. And that was the first time we like drove to downtown. That was like the first time I like met Ben for real.
Yeah.
And Bobby. And like just walking into the warehouse itself, I was like, oh shit. I remember like opening the door and it's like Natalia Mantini, who had the blog Meow.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh my God, it's fucking Natalia. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, she's like, hey, what's up? Doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Fuck you.
I'm like walking around. I'm like, oh, this is where they filmed that segment with like Dom Kennedy and Nathan Nice rapping while they were playing video games. Then we go into the kitchen. I'm like, oh, this is where they did that one thing on the block. Like I knew this place. Like
You knew it. You like already lived there. In your head.
Go upstairs, meet Ben. He's like, who the fuck are you? You know, and do the whole thing. And then Bert basically just never came back. And I became the van driver. I was there for like 2 years driving the van.
So you stopped working at the screen printer and just working for the hundreds?
Yeah. So then it basically, no. I still was an employee for Mixed Media.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
The print shop. And so every day I would drive to the valley and then park my car. And then the van was basically taking production to the hundreds warehouse. But then also we were printing for like Primitive. And so I would drive to Primitive and then I got to meet the Primitive guys, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And at the time they were about to open Broadway, Santa Monica.
Yep.
So then it was like dropping off warehouse, Primitive, Rosewood, Santa Monica every day, just in traffic with boxes in the van. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you just listen to like crazy tunes while you're driving, or pass the time?
I'd like, honestly, it was like I was so young. I had a little pipe and like weed and like smoke in traffic and like smoke cigarettes because of John and the other guys and just, you know, call my girlfriend like, what are you doing?
Yeah, just killing time.
And then, so you did that. That was like your thing. And then like, what was in between hundreds and right after hundreds?
So the brand was still going on.
Yep.
And we were obviously kind of using my relationship working for the hundreds as leverage.
Of course,
you
have
know. So I was like giving product to all the warehouse workers and they'd wear it. And then like one day Ben calls me and says, why the fuck don't I have any, you know?
Yeah.
And like little by little, whatever.
Did Bobby and Ben support you?
Yeah. I mean, you know, again, like Ben fucking around like, why don't I have a fucking shirt?
Yeah.
And then the next day I bring him my XL and he just like put it to the side, you know, and like it just sat there for months or whatever. So that was support for me.
Right.
And then, you know, a couple months later, you know, Bobby finally put us on the blog and like talked about us, whatever. But basically I got fed up with driving the van. I went inside, I talked to Ben. I was like, I know how to design. I want to design for the hundreds. He was like, all right. And they had seen my shit, you know, and they basically for a week, he had to convince John for me to not drive the van for like a couple hours a day, you know. And I sat with Benji and Benji's like, do this. And a few days in, Benji basically told Ben, he was like, this dude doesn't got it, you know, like he's a little slow, like whatever, like da-da-da. I understood, you know. Ben calls me and he's like, we don't got a job for you, so you got to keep driving the van. Got super bummed out. And I text Aaron, who I had met because I worked at Zoomies at like 17, 18. I went to 100K, which was like if you sell $100,000 worth of product, you go to
it's the
Keystone.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Zoomies 100K is an event every year in Keystone, Colorado that people like me and Josh have gotten to speak at, and we fly out there. It's literally a kid. Like back in the day, to do 100,000 in sales in your store was almost impossible. And you would hear about these legend stories. Like you get flown out to Keystone and to this party where there's like 3,000 people that go there.
Tons of
they
kids.
take over the entire mountain. And people like Shepard Ferry, you know, Nick Diamond, you know, all the LRG guys when LRG was big, like everyone, Paul Rodriguez, like Tony Hawk, like everyone goes out there and speaks to the kids, and it's for the kids, man, and it's like. It's almost like a myth because you're like, no way. And like now it's like people, you know, it's gotten so big that the kid I think has to do over 250,000.
No way.
Like, dude, it's
shit.
it's like, but still called Zoomies 100K.
Yeah.
But they have to make more money because getting to 100,000 is not that hard, you know. But the presents are insane. You know, Nick
Yeah.
Diamond gave a kid like a Lincoln,
a Chevelle or something,
Chevelle, right? And it was painted the Nike Dunk, like Tiffany's like blue or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I think the LRG guys, you know, they gave away a jet ski or some dirt bike.
Yeah,
you know,
you get a bunch of
you
crazy
get
shit.
shit. You get like a trip with your family to like
Yep.
Thailand, like so. It's insane, you know, and it's really cool. And I used to have a bunch of brands, and Zoomies has always believed in me because of, you know, of Agenda and stuff that Aaron and I used to do for them. And Zoomies 100K is like, it's amazing. And I used to love going there because like we would just wild out, you know, like I've taken my wife Abby there, I think twice now or once, but it's awesome. You know, you just snowmobile, you get to go get drunk with your friends that you don't see. The craziest thing is like, you don't usually get to bring like your wife, like it's all dudes. It's
dude
just
fest for
dude
sure.
fest. So
And chicks with
I think
dyed hair.
Shepard Ferry and I are the only people who have brought like Abby and Amanda.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty crazy. So
I mean, I think, you know, to rewind, working for Zoomies, I was doing well selling, and I went up there, and I was a huge fan of the Seventh Letter brand because I was into graph in high school. Yeah, and so it's one night. It's 100K, all this shit's going on. I'm walking around just like probably in like a fucking weird outfit, you know? And I think I had kind of known what Revoke looked like because of the whole Australia shit. Yep. And so I kind of see him, he's wearing the fat ring.
Yeah.
And then Aaron, which I didn't know, is right next to him wearing the fat ring. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go talk to these guys. And I had the promo shirts in my fucking bag. So I'm like, Revoke. He's like, what's up, man? You know, yo, huge fan. Yeah, thanks. I was like, I write too, you know, Anum, whatever, the entire crew. He's like, word. And I like look over, I'm like, what's up, man? And it's Aaron. Yeah. He's like, what up? You know, I'm Aaron. I'm like, cool. And I'm like, yo, I got a brand I'm starting. I want to give you guys some shirts. And they're like, all right. I open my backpack. I give them 2 shirts. And they're like, the fuck, whatever. Yo, man, I'd love to keep in touch. So then Aaron goes, take my email down. I'm in LA. We'll get lunch. Yeah. Probably bullshitting. Yeah. So I write down, I don't know, at the time probably had a BlackBerry.
Yeah, BlackBerry or something.
Write down his email. Cool. They keep the shirts. Next day, you know, Revoke's painting on the mountain. He's like painting some ramps and shit. And Aaron's just standing. I'm like, yo, what up? Remember me? He's like, yeah, what's up, man? You know, he's like, yo, my bad. We lost the shirts. We got drunk.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, all right, it's all good. You know, and he's like, come by my office in LA and we'll go to lunch. Da-da-da, whatever. So I just wanted more FaceTime. You know, I ended up going to lunch, you know, a couple months later, et cetera, et cetera. But so I call Aaron because I'm at the hundreds, bored as fuck driving the van. And we had just kept up. You know, he kind of saw what I was doing. You know, he obviously knew Ben and Bobby, and he knew that they were like fucking with me. So I called him and I was like, yo, dude, like, I'm over here driving the van, you know, I'm making $24,000 a year. I'm over it. Like, please tell me you got something. And he's like, yeah, 7th letter. And I'm like, what? Like, yeah, what? Yes, anything, you know? He's like, word, I'm gonna give you $25,000 a year. And at the time I was like, yes, you know, like, fuck yeah, $1,000 more a year. It comes down to like a quarter a day or something. I don't know.
It's like an extra 100 on the
But I was hyped,
of course,
you know. And he was like, yeah, you can come design, tech pack, production. I see what you're doing with your brand, whatever. So, you know, put in my 2 weeks. Ben and Aaron talk. They're cool. Then I started at the 7th letter, and I was there for probably like 8 months, and I was basically the only guy there.
Yeah. Where were we at the time? The Yellow Building, or even before that?
We were at the old Fresh Jive.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So it was like Bill Hebner and Ryan, like picking and packing, and like Bill was like the
overseeing
guy, you know.
Letter. Yeah.
But I was like, you know, I'd get an email from Retna or an email from Rhyme or you know, Saber, and like, here's our picture. Turn it into a t-shirt, and I had never like been trained on this, so I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like clicking every button in Photoshop to figure out how to get like Askew's 7th letter painting logo vectored. Right. Freaking out, you know, calling all these people that I don't know. So
how do you vector?
Yeah. And so it was that, but then also, you know, Aaron, like, you got to go see these stores and you got to sell the brand. I'm like, what the fuck? Never done this shit before. And like, make a catalog. So I'm making catalogs. And then he started trusting me to make designs. So he would send me like logos of like freight trains and like make to say TSL or whatever. Yeah. Cool. And I'm started making graphics. You know, I'm started building collections of the 7th letter brand. Obviously that would get offered to Zoomies, and then I'd try to sell to other brands or whatever, other stores. And then that kind of turned into like yo, we're having a Hello Kitty show. Here's the book. I need you to like product shoot it, get it ready. And then also like, can you make us like a cross logo of like Hello Kitty and the 7th letter brand? So I'd like vector Hello Kitty like on top of the 7th letter logo. And then that turned into like a sticker and then like the main thing of the show. And I'm like, oh shit,
Damn.
like becoming this like tangible item, you know? And yeah, you know, like I was, again, not the only guy there, but the only guy like doing shit. I even like made business cards.
Yeah.
I think I still have it. It says like sales and marketing.
You're like, I gotta add something into this.
I remember meeting Two Tone one day at a party.
Best.
I'm like, yo, what's up? You're Two Tone. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm marketing at the 7th letter. And he like laughed at me. He's like, you're marketing at the 7th letter? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, what does that even mean? And I was like, I don't know. Here's my card, whatever.
We're doing it right now.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was there for a couple months and then kind of same situation. I just got kind of bummed out.
Yeah.
The brand was still going on, classic.
So you're doing a lot though. You're doing almost setting up all the catalogs, taking the photos.
Dude, I was, again, like
Everything.
basically all the energy there.
Yeah.
For
For
and then also trying to
25K.
do my brand, but also like still implementing my brand. So we go to trade shows, I do the whole booth build out, and I'd be sitting at my booth, and then the, you know, stores would come and I'd be like, yo, I have a brand on the side, check it out. And they'd be like, oh, this is sick. You know, here's a $500 order. Whatever.
So for the Classics brand, did you have any partners in that? You had one
I
partner?
had a partner at that time. His name was Nelson.
Was he doing design or were you the
No,
one?
he was like the sales guy.
Okay.
But, you know, I ended up buying him out because I ended up being everything, you know. But yeah, so I was doing the brand at the same time, 7th letter. And then, you know, I'm just over it.
Yeah.
And so I like text Aaron like, yo, can you come by the office? I had my whole shit like planned out.
You had all your files all packed up.
I just ready, you know. And it was the night before the Hello Kitty show, funny enough. And he comes in and he's like, what's up? And I was like, yo, I gotta talk to you. You know, and he's like, what's up? And I was like, you know, da-da-da. 2-week notice. He's like, nah, today's your last day. And I'm like, what? And he's like, erase everything on the laptop. That's our laptop. He's like, give me the company card. I had like an Amex at the time. I'm like, but I need 2 weeks. He's like, no, today's your last day. You're done. He's like, you're gonna go to the Hello Kitty show. You're gonna shoot it. I need all the photos by midnight. And then you're done. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, fuck. I needed 2 weeks to like figure out what I was gonna do. So now I'm trying to like salvage myself, you know, like you know. And he's like, nah, you're done.
You're out of here.
So
He like mentally checked out, so he didn't like really want you around.
yeah, he was like, yeah, you kind of suck anyways. Yeah. And so get wasted that night.
Imagine that.
Yeah, get wasted. And then the next morning, I wake up and the homie Carlos, he's at the hundreds now.
Yep.
Little guy.
Yep.
Not little guy, but you know what I'm saying. He lives downstairs. I'm like, yo, fucking hungover. He's like, let's go get micheladas. We go get micheladas and we run into the entire SSUR crew. So it's like Vlad, you know, all those guys. And at the time, we're like, oh shit, smoke. And then we're sitting there drinking micheladas. I'm like looking at Vlad. I'm like, yo, dude, you guys got anything over there? And he's like, what? I was like, yo, I'm done with the 7th letter. I put in my 2 weeks, you know.
Yeah.
Need to move on. You know, something bigger and better. And at the time, Calm the Fuck Down was like just starting, which is obviously that, you know, logo that they did that blew the fuck up. And he was just like, come in on Monday, talk to Russ. And like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah, Monday came and went to talk to Russ and got the job.
Wow.
Very lucky.
So were you gonna be doing the same thing for them, like just?
I mean, I went in and, you know, I had seen Russ. I'd been a fan of Russ. I never talked to Russ. I like walk in, he's rolling a joint. He's like, yo, what's good? And, you know, I'm like, yo, what's up? You know, I'm Josh. And he's like, yeah, I've seen you around Agenda. Just got a little brand or something. I'm like, yeah, it's called Classic, whatever. Cool, what's good? I was like, I'm leaving 7th letter. You know, I was doing sales, marketing, fucking everything.
Pretty much everything, yeah.
I was selling myself.
Photography.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you know, we got Dredd here. He's doing sales right now. And he's sitting next to me. And I'm like, are you in Active? Are you in Zoomies? Are you in, you know, just name dropping all the shit? And he's like, we're in some of those. I'm like, so you're not in everything? And he's like, no. I was like, Russ, what do you want to be in everything? And he's like, it depends. And I'm like, I got Bodega. I got that bullshitting. You know, just naming all these stores that I wish I was in. Mm-hmm. I got all that. And Dredd's like, oh shit, yeah, that'll be sick. And I was like, word, well, you know, put me on the team. Russ was like, are you cool with that? And Dredd's like, I'm cool with it if he's going to get us in those dope stores because I don't know those guys. I got East Coast on lock.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got West Coast. I'll get us in Active tomorrow, which I kind of could have, you know. And so Russ was like, cool, you know, I'll give you 10% of sales. You start today. I didn't even have a laptop because Aaron took my fucking laptop. I didn't even have a car. I don't think I had a car at the time.
Aaron took my life.
And yeah, I started at SSUR and stayed there for like, I don't know, like a year and a half maybe.
Wow. And then from there, where did you go?
I'm at SSUR for a year and a half.
Yep.
Sales kind of pivots, and I do the dead body exhibit at Magic. And that was kind of the first time I ever did any type of like experience.
Like, yeah, like you built it, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, it was Russ's idea, obviously, but like I had to go to like, you know, all the prop places and buy the dead bodies and buy the fake cocaine and buy the fake bundles of cash.
That was game changing.
Yeah. That was, I mean, I like to think one of the first times
for sure
a real installation was done at a trade show. And so, yeah, he kind of gave me the reins, and that was the first time I did that. And he, you know, it was such a great turnout that he was like, you're going to be this guy now. And then I hired Elliot to take my spot in sales, and I became like the SSUR marketing guy. Yeah. So I did all his activations.
For those that don't know, like when brands are going to trade shows, you only get one chance. I've seen some amazing things over the last, 10 plus years of what people would do. Like back in the day, it'd be you go to Magic and you'd see the craziest booths from like, from Sean John to whatever Jay-Z had. And even like back in the ASR days, like Black Flies, they would have like a crazy blacked out booth, but they put like little peepholes, and in the peepholes there'd be strippers in there, like man, Black Flies used to have the best booth at ASR. It's crazy, or like the Reef girls, they would have the Reef models, and everyone would wait in line to get like a poster signed by a Reef girl, but that became every booth. And then streetwear came along and they made some money, and you're right, I would say SSUR was like one of the first like things that were like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, the next year we did a mermaid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
And you guys are doing those in the little square, a lot of space.
They were oddly shaped.
Yeah.
They were oddly shaped.
We would look at it differently and kind of.
It'd be like a 10 by 20, or like 7 by 20.
So you buy like 3 spots? Yeah. 3 like spaces?
Yeah, I did that. And then Ellie got pregnant. Mm-hmm. And so I take 2 weeks off. Cash is born. Now this is 2013, October. And while I'm gone, Ben calls me because we've been cool the whole time.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Obviously the brand is still going on. He's like, yo, how much you making over there? Do you have health benefits? You just had a kid, da-da-da. And I'm like, this is how much I'm making. Don't have health benefits. He's like, come to the hundreds. Baby D just left. We don't have West Coast sales. He's like, come be my West Coast sales guy. I'm going to pay you more. I'm going to give you benefits. Da-da-da-da. And I'm like, fuck, this all sounds great. But I was having fun at SSUR, just making shit, like we had designed the LA store together. And I was like, I can say I designed a store, but it was more money, obviously. And so I went back and I talked to Russ and I was like, yo, dude, if you can match this, I'll stay without the benefits. And he was like, fuck, and it was significantly more than I was making there. And he's just like, I can't do it. And I was like, I had a kid, bro, I got to go. And he's like, I get it, So I dipped and I went back to the hundreds to be West Coast sales November. Which that first week I was on is when they had the party at Disneyland. Yep. It was wild. And so stayed at the hundreds, did West Coast sales up until June 2014. And then that's when investors came on for Classic. And basically I quit the hundreds to focus 100% on the brand. Right.
You and Red were like, you guys were doing some amazing installations. Yeah. Like, so let's break a little bit of that down. Just like complex cons of the world. I know we're fast forwarding a lot, but like you guys were doing some really cool installations and partnering up with like partners like Fila and whoever you
Stance,
guys.
Umbro. Yep. Yeah. So I mean, I was just taking what I learned from Russ and what I knew that I enjoyed doing, and instead of doing the typical, trade show racks, whatever, we were even putting like the black curtain so you couldn't look inside. And then it turned into large installations. And fortunately, I still knew Aaron at the time. So we'd get a crazy deal on a 20 by 20 booth. Sometimes free. He would just be like, yo, just make something. Yeah,
because Aaron wanted cool shit. And, and it was perfect. You and Red were doing amazing work, man.
So we did that, and Classic, I don't want to say took off, but we did really well. We got up to like 400 stores worldwide. I had a team of like 12 employees. We opened the store on Fairfax. We were like a legit streetwear brand, Diamond collab, Stance collab, Fila, Umbro, et cetera, et cetera. And we did that up until about 2016 is when Red came to me and he was just like, yo, do you mind if I sell other brands? And at the time it was like Carrots and like some other small shit. And I was like, I don't mind, just do it off the clock. That obviously turned into on the clock. I had to have the conversation with him. I'm like, you need to go start your own shit. And he was just like, fuck, I don't know if I want to do that. I was like, trust me, you're good. Then he ended up starting 777 Distribution, which is amazingly successful now. Yeah. And then I think once he left, you know, his brother left, got like with Jesse at the time was doing like our marketing and all our Instagram stuff, you know, digital. He leaves too. And then I had like Adam and Ron still there. And like, those are my homies, obviously. But I could just tell that like everyone was bound to go their own direction. And I felt that. And then at the same time, personally, I was like, well, I don't want to be this guy for the rest of my life either.
Right.
So I kind of have to figure out what's next, you know. Obviously, the investors were there, like, still making sure shit was rolling. And then it just got to, like, to the end of 2016, I sat down with Aaron in Vegas at a trade show, and he's like, what's good? How's the brand? I'm like, I'm over it. You got anything?
How would you break that down for, like, a kid these days? Like, you're in 400 stores worldwide. That when you hear 400 stores, you're like, man, that's got to be fucking killing it. Like, it's not all it seems to be. You know what I mean? Like, 400 stores, like... Man, you're not driving Ferraris. You're not like, you're doing collabs with Nicky Diamond. By the way, when I'm saying this is at like peak Nicky Diamond. Like no one can get meetings with Nick.
2015, 2016.
You know, so it's like.
We opened the store August 2015.
Right. So it's like, how are you like sitting down with Aaron, you know, and saying, I'm over it?
Well, one was the investors came on and just kind of gave us too much money.
Right.
And so we were in debt. And also, I was a partner, but also paying myself. This is kind of unheard of. You know, like I had a salary.
Got it.
And so instead of being the typical partner, which is like when there's money, you get money.
Make money. Yep.
I was like, I want $100,000 a year.
Got it.
You know, and they're like, all right. And so the brand was making money, but then also we had 12 employees. We're trying to open a store. All, you know, production issues. Shit always hits the fan. Yep. So like, you know, realistically, let's say we're making, I think at our highest, we were close to like 2 million. You know, how much of that is production?
Right.
30-40%. You know, how much are you paying the guys? You know, how many trips are you going on? How many taxi cabs? How many bar tabs? What's a brand really producing?
Yep.
Maybe $300,000, and I'm taking home $100,000. The brand's making $200K.
Yeah, fair.
Not cool.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like,
did you start to feel that the brand was like not what you had originally envisioned it to be? Like it was slowly changing into something else.
No, I mean, like I was still
going in
100% creative control, but. You know, I had a kid and I'm like, why am I not rich yet? You know, like, and like people were thinking I was rich, you know, I'd go to trade shows, people, yo,
you're the
killing it,
guy, yo.
You know, and I kept, hated hearing that you're killing it. And I'm like, no, I make $100,000 and
I'm not killing it.
You know, not saying $100,000 is a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but it didn't feel like that, you know?
Fair.
Especially you're probably living there at the time, right? Like you probably worked every day of the week.
No life.
All day long. Yeah, and you know, it's like the investors kept knocking, like, why are we making more? Like, why are we doing Zoomies? Why aren't, you know, making millions of dollars? And I was just like, look, I'm trying everything to do, but like, I'm not going to sell out and be this corny ass brand.
Yeah.
You know, it was my shit, it was my blood, you know? And I was like, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. It's going to be very organic. If we don't make 50 million, then we don't make 50 million. And they didn't understand that. They were like, we pumped way too much money into this. You're traveling the world. You're doing all these pop-ups. We're not making money. And basically the brand was in debt, you know? And so it came to a point like in 2016, I think, where they're like, we have to knock you down a little bit from 100K to like 70. And I'm like, what the fuck, you know? Wow. So once I heard that, I was like, I got to go find money somewhere else.
Because you could make that, you know, it doesn't matter how much you love your brand, but when you start having a family involved, it's like, that's not what you're thinking about.
Yeah, they knocked me down a little bit and I was like, okay, I got to do some shit on the side. And so I started a little brand called CBL and like, you know, started making money there. But then, that turned into like me sitting down with Aaron and being like, yo, I got to make some extra cash. And she was like, I'm working on this thing called Complex Con. It's going to launch in November. He tried to describe it to me and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, you can come help. Give you, you know, $60K a year. You know, you don't have to be at the office every day. I'm like, sign me up. So that was the first job I've taken since I left the hundreds, basically. And the investors were bummed, obviously. And then, like, we ended up hiring Ken, my homie, to start designing the classic stuff. And so it was, like, the beginning of the end, basically. You know, I was, like, not showing up every day anymore. Red was gone, you know, but still selling classic kind of as his, you know, distribution company. Did Complex Con, huge success. You know, everyone was happy. And then Ben hits me up and he's like, you're helping Aaron? I'm like, yeah. He's like, can you help us? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, I'll give you $5K a month. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, this is a thing. Yeah.
What did Aaron have you do at ComplexCon?
Design all the merchandise with Takashi Murakami. Do all the entire gift store was my operation.
It was.
So I was the one that was like, okay, we're gonna have a gift store. This is what it's gonna look like. This is how the line's gonna work. This is how we're gonna fulfill the orders. These are the order forms we're gonna print out. This is the pricing. These are the margins. I was doing the buying from Takashi. I was working with Takashi's team to design the product. The whole
game changer.
The whole 9.
Yeah. Was the first one, and I know the answer because it's my best friend who came up with this. And was it successful?
Yeah, I mean. Yes, I don't know how much money they really made because of however much you had to spend to make it. Yeah. But I don't know. I think 15,000 people came in 2 days, which is amazing. Yeah. And Nike was there, Adidas was there, Bape was there, you name it was there.
The lines were scary.
Anti-social social club.
I remember seeing it as like an outsider, and I was like, "Well, this is the game changer."
Insane. I remember passing Aaron at one point during the first show, and I was like, "Yo!" And he was like, you never saw him because there's so many people. He's like, and he hit me he like grabbed me by the shoulders. He's like, "We're gonna have jobs for a really long time," and walked away. And I was like, "Sick," yes, successful.
I just remember walking in with Bobby and Ben, and Aaron just killed himself. Like more on one. Us 4 super close friends, and 2, we were there the day Aaron showed us we were at Zumi's 100K.
Yeah,
when Aaron came, it was me, Aaron, Bobby, and Ben. And I think maybe Scotty was with us. I don't remember. And Bobby and I were like, "What is this guy? What are you doing?" Like crazy. We didn't because his original like trailer of what it was going to be didn't really explain it. It looked amazing. And I just remember we walked in, we were going down the stairs, and Bobby's like, "Aaron just killed himself." And it was more saying like, trade shows are over. Yeah. It's over. ComplexCon is the new
thing.
Everything, And then people like Bobby and I, like, we saw kids like fainting and like, waiting in line all day, not eating, like, and Bobby's a dad, so he's just like, what the fuck, and it's like, he did his recap didn't make Aaron very happy, but
that's true.
It needed to be said. And, obviously Bobby and Ben are super close friends. And it was, I just remember like, oh my God.
Wild.
It's over.
Yeah.
The agenda's over and ComplexCon is in and this is what everyone's going to want to do.
Yeah.
But does it feel like when they went complex, like the little guy couldn't really like compete?
No way. There's no way. No. Because people like Nike have so much money.
Yeah.
They're like,
I had a booth at
like
the
when
first
you had
ComplexCon and I made like $3,000.
Yeah, but when you had like an agenda, it was like way more lucrative for like a smaller brand to get in there and be seen.
But it all changed. Yeah. Everything changed.
And did you have any like worries about it being complex based? Like the brand complex is like now synonymous with like streetwear and stuff like that. But early on, it was like still
I wasn't thinking about it. It was not my business. So I was just like, this is cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
And I had a job. So.
Yeah. I mean, Mark Echo touch on it, like to make it sound cool, but complex at the time, it didn't seem like that big of a.
No. Well, it's big. I mean, Complex Media is massive.
Yeah.
So fast forward, from there, where are we going?
I started doing special projects for the hundreds.
Yep.
So I did like the Jackson Pollock stuff.
Yep. Did a cool chair with Modernica.
Yeah. I was there for maybe another 4 or 5 months, and then Ben kind of just pulled me aside. He's like, "This doesn't make sense. Like we're good. We don't really need you." And I was like, "Fuck," And so I had started making money on the side.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do this." And then that's when I made the decision. I was like, "I'm gonna start a design agency, creative agency, leave Classic." And so that happened April 1st, 2017. And I started Workwell Design, which was a bitch and a half, just reaching out to people, asking for money, trying to figure out. I think I was hitting you to make merch, Palms merch.
Yeah.
I was blowing you up, trying to figure out how to get like $500, $1,000, because like now I was on my own,
Mm-hmm.
And that was a good learning lesson. But while that happened, I kind of had to I remember just taking like a few weeks off and just like having to rethink my entire mind, you know? And I was like, you can't, like, something's got to stop. This isn't going to work anymore. Printing t-shirts and embroidery and hats and wholesale.
You outgrew that.
This thing, catalogs and I was like, and so I like just took a few weeks off and like I had to retrain my mind to think as just a creative in general. And one was obviously business was, okay, I'm going to start a design agency. The other concept I created was reality to idea, which was, taking all objects and bringing them to their origin, which is on a piece of paper with pencil or pen. And so while Workwell's starting, I draw the Air Force. And really I just did it to like create this like fake Nike ad that was supposed to look like from the 80s. So we got like grid paper, or like graph paper, and like kind of wrinkled it and like made little things and then put the photo of the shoe on there and put like a Nike logo and like 1983, you know, and like we posted it on the Workwell page, but you know, no one understood what was really going on. And I just remember I kept looking at the shoe and I was like, this is a thing, but at the same time trying to run a business, you know. And you know, a couple weeks passed by, I like painted a hat. You know, a couple weeks passed by, I painted a Modernica chair. A couple weeks passed by, I do a bear break, and that's when, like, you know, my wife is like, this is a thing. Yeah, you're obviously passionate about it because you keep doing it.
So it's still in the same aesthetic, like
with
the black lines.
And I just kept doing it. I had forks and knives and cups and shit on my house, and I'll just do it when I get home from work, you know? Yeah, it was just like this really organic idea, and I was like, I like this, you know, and I started thinking of offering it as a concept, you know, to the world. So I was like, okay, I got to give it a name. It's Reality 2 Idea. It's highlighting, you know, the napkin sketch, you know, and also like, how can I use that as marketing, I guess? And it's like, well, everyone has ideas. We almost always throw them away because we're just like scared or just doubtful of executing this idea because it might be too large, da da da. And I was like, okay, there's a thing there. It's like, follow your dreams, you know, chase your ideas, da da da. I'm like, but also it's like going back to the beginning, which is just legit. It's like OG shit, you know. It's like, that's what usually almost everyone does at some point in their life. Like, I got to think back to the basics.
Right.
You know? And that year went by. It was really, really, really hard year because I had walked away from something that I created and worked on for 8 years. I had like changed my identity, you know, and it was really hard. I was super depressed. I was drinking way too much, you know, broke again, you know, my savings was like fluttering between $5,000 to $10,000. You know, maybe we'd get a big check from Workwell and then I'd eat that up because I'm an idiot, you know, drinking and fucking doing whatever. And I got really drunk one night and then I went out and I painted a barbecue pit December 4th of 2017, black and white. Snapped a photo, went home, and I was like crying because I was like so happy. Because it just reminded me of like graph days. Of
course.
Going out, like, I was like,
the adrenaline.
Idiot. Like, I'm at a park, you know, in Rancho Cucamonga, like, you know, someone's like walking their dog because it's like midnight, you know. I remember going home and just really having this like emotional thing. I'm crying. My wife's like, well, this is fucking, like, are you okay? And I'm like, this is so sick. This is so sick. Like, I want to do this more. She's like, well, do it more then. You know, next week I painted a porta potty. Next week I painted the fire hydrant. You know, basketball court.
Where were you putting all this stuff though? When you're painting it, you're just like leaving it around your house?
No, this was out on the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
McDonald's sign was a huge hit too.
Yeah. And so I was doing all this shit and I had captured all this content. And then it was, you know, December 31st, New Year's. We're up in San Francisco. Me, Ellie take Cash and Verona, my kids. And, you know, I don't know if you guys are the same. Every New Year, I like, this New Year, I'm going to have some kind of epiphany and I'm going to have to make some kind of decision. I don't know why I leave it to that day, but it always happens. And so it's like, we're in San Francisco and I'm like, this is it. I'm going to do this year. Like,
go hard.
Yeah. And like, it has to work because I'm over it. Like, if this doesn't work, I'm going to go work at Adidas or Nike or PacSun or Call Tall or Aaron again. And I'm done. I'm out the game, you know? And, I had all this ammo that I had, you know, painted already in 2017. And I started like January 2nd. I posted the Air Force and I put, because I had painted it earlier. I was like, decided to wear these today because I realized that I can just make another pair.
Yeah.
Excited to show you guys what this concept will become. Whatever. So I like believed in it already, not as much, like I didn't know it was going to go down, but I did that, got some traction, and then I was like, here's the fire hydrant, here's the porta potty, here's the basketball court, here's remote control, here's, you know,
everything,
the Jordans, here's this, and just something happened in the world. Yeah. And like, I was waking up 2,000 followers, 5,000 followers, 3,000 followers, like, so-and-so followed you, Takashi Murakami followed you, you know, Mark Echo, like crazy. Ball players, yo, what's good? How much for the Jordans? You know, LeBron stylist reaching out, what's good? I'm LeBron stylist. How much for?
Sure, you are.
It's like, it's fucking, like the surreal, January 2017 was like the most surreal time
Yeah.
of like
you
life.
have a story about LeBron, right? Like some dude was hitting you up and you didn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then he came back and hit you up.
Yeah.
And you sent it to him, and the next thing you know, LeBron's walking in.
Yeah, I thought it was bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, I was getting a lot. I still get a lot of
Right.
You know,
I represent this guy.
Yeah.
and I mean, honestly, some are real, but they expect it for free, and I'm still like, I don't want to do that, and then they get kind of mad. And so this guy was like, "Yo, like, I'm LeBron stylist. I want a pair." I'm like, "Cool, $1,000." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" You know, he just disappeared. And so I was like, whatever. And then like All-Star weekend was coming up. He's like, "I'm coming to All-Star. Can I grab the shoes?" I'm like, "It's $1,000." He's like, "Fuck it." And he sent me $1,000. And then he was like, "I want you to paint LeBron's shoes, not some regular Air Force Ones or the Off-Whites." It's like, "Cool, send it here." Next day they arrive. I'm like, "Okay." And then like I look, it's like Akron, Ohio. And I'm like, oh shit. Like this is, it's either this is real or this is like the craziest, you know, lie ever.
The best executed.
Painted them, and you know, I didn't think he was gonna wear them or post them, and so like I put them on the floor and like one of one for King James, posted it. You can go on my comments still. Everyone's like, bullshit, stupid as fuck, no way, you know, liar. And I'm in a, funny enough, I'm in a meeting for Face Clan because Workwell did their product design for like the first collection or whatever. And so we're sitting there with like the dude from Karmaloop and like Temper's there and a couple other guys. And we're at like some WeWork office in Hollywood. My phone's just bzz, bzz, bzz. I'm like trying to tell these guys like I should do this, you know, that pay me this much, whatever. And I'm like, fuck, I gotta check my phone, guys. I'm sorry. And like I look, it's just like all my homies like, dude. And I like open it, and it's fucking LeBron James walking through the Cavs shit, wearing the fucking you know shoes, and I'm like, oh my god. And like I show everybody. I think that's probably why I got the job, but
they were just like, what?
Yeah, I wore him in that game. He, you know, they ended up losing that series, but he scored like 42 points that game or some shit, and it was
because of the shoes.
It was
come on.
I personally remember sitting that when I saw those, I was like, whoa, this is finally like from beginning to finally reached its destination.
It was crazy. It was really crazy.
It felt like from that point on, it was just like through the roof then.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of other moving parts going on, and again, just like receiving these followers and like, you know, having like, it's so weird how things align. Like I worked for Complex Con, and then Takashi Murakami started following me because of the shoes, not knowing that I was a designer at Complex Con. Oh. And then like we went to London, and I went, which I should not have gone to that, you know, like I was like the inside the office designer, and Neil and Ashley were like, yo, Josh should go. Because Takashi started following this dude. It's going to be a good look. Da, da, da. And then Ashley was like, you should paint him a pair of shoes. I was like, oh, fuck. So, like, on Google, like, what size is Takashi Murakami? Size 12. And go to fucking Nike, buy a pair. And we show up, and then it's like, hey, I got you a present. And he had no idea who I was. You know, and I'm like, here you go. And it's like Mark Echo, Ashley, Neil, me. And he opens, he's like, oh, shit. And then he, like,
there's photos.
Puts them on, and, like, you know, it's, fuck. It's like videos, like, super. So it's like all these weird moments, like, happened before they happened, you know, like.
For those that don't know, Ashley Nichols is the biggest secret weapon in the world.
Legend.
He's a legend. He's one of my best friends, one of Josh's really close friends. And a lot of my career, Ashley is. Yeah. He has done a lot for me, and I had to just stop and say that.
For sure, no. But
yeah, and then, so you do that. That was amazing. I remember it like it was yesterday. I can't believe it was only 2017 because I've known you for so long. But like, all of a sudden, like, the Herschel project came, and that, you know, I know I'm missing a bunch, but like, the Herschel project was big for you.
Big.
Like, I remember Kellen, who's one of my best, I know I say best friend a lot, but Kellen and I have been best friends since like 7th grade. Yeah. So like, it's my brother. He's the head of sales for Herschel. And I remember he came out to Vegas, and he's like, man, you got to work with Josh Videz. I'm like, I know. Josh and I always talk on the phone. You know, I'm like, I'm trying. And at the time, this is like 2 years ago. And I'm telling him, I'm like, Josh is expensive. And I'm like, and that's, you know, like knowing what you charge now, you know, I'm like, that was like peanuts, right? And he's like, you got to work with him. We're literally like, don't say anything, but we're about to do this insane deal with Josh. Insane deal. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, dude, he's gonna do some crazy stuff for Herschel. And I'm like, okay. So it's when we started like you know, pivoting into what we were gonna do. I'm like, Josh, you gotta figure out something in Vegas that you want to do with me. I'm like, I want to do an installation with you. And I still didn't even ask my bosses. I was just like, I was stuck on knowing that John Gray and I needed to do something with you. And And I remember, it like hit out of nowhere. I remember, we'll talk about the Herschel thing, because what did you do for Herschel real quick? Like, what was the project?
Basically, again, it was so weird. Herschel and Complex Con are on the same floor.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd see the guys all the time. And so just one day, I'm like meeting with them, and I'm like, hey, like, I'm kind of talking to Incase, but I fuck with you guys more. Can we do it? And they're like, maybe. And then, they talk to Lyndon and talk to Jamie, and they remember me because I worked with, oh my God. I met Lyndon and Jamie at SSUR, and we did a Ben Trill SSUR collab with Herschel that never came out.
Right.
I was a designer for that project. This is when Herschel was tiny.
Yeah. Jamie and Lyndon are the owners of Herschel, for those that don't know.
So they're like, oh shit, we remember Josh. He's a homie, the little homie who's like, yes, let's do it. And then it's like, all right, like, how much money do you want? And then what do you want to do? I was like, we have to create these experiences with the product, consumer facing Complex Con, and then Complex Con turned into Yohood turned into Bread and Butter turned into Soul DXB. So 4 installations, all based on travel. So one was a plane, one was a train, one was a fucking astronaut, fucking spaceship. And the last one was a bullet train in Dubai.
Yeah. You did like a plane and like a terminal, right? That was like,
it's crazy. And you can
like
walk
half
in the
a plane too. Yeah.
Like the bags were there.
I remember taking that to the bosses and be like, we need this child here.
And you hadn't done any installations before that?
I had, but not like.
He was doing stuff for like Classic with Red. Like they were doing like their little installs that were already blowing people's minds away. I would say the Herschel stuff was like.
It was huge.
Game changing.
Like the reality to idea build out. So like, the little chair. And
I guess Herschel was the first time, we did 2 reality or maybe 3 reality 2 idea shows before Herschel. And that was just me renting a white space.
Yeah.
And doing my thing in it. I wasn't paying for any type of build out, or I didn't have any type of creative agency helping me. It was my team.
It's super organic too. People come,
4 guys
pose in there,
building this shit
and
out,
then repost it. It was like
Herschel was the first time they were like, what do you want to do? We'll build it. And I was like, let's build a fucking plane. And they're like, okay.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
There's still a lot of people that haven't hit that. They're the first ones that were like, we're investing, The bullet train was fucking, just the whole thing was crazy, and all the products sold out, and,
but I think that's what people need to do these days to like
invest.
You want to move
in the
things.
idea,
you
gotta just energy, like we get hit up all the time, dude, and like we turn down so much shit. I mean, we were just talking about it before, because it just people are like, we want all this fucking stuff, and we want to be super cool, and we love your Instagram, and we have this tiny budget. It's like, do you understand what you just said?
It's like. And then you did something for the Roosevelt.
Yeah, we painted the Roosevelt. That's permanent.
Which was awesome. It's amazing. That's another thing that I would show. You did a kind of like a moving show. You did like a truck.
We did
a U-Haul truck.
Reality 2 Idea US tour. We did 7 cities in 9 days. Yep. Basically rented a U-Haul and packed it the fuck out with this like little experience. Made some merch with some cool stores. Yep. Drove cross country.
And that was right around the time where I finally got the green light. And Josh and I were talking about. I sat down with the bosses, and they were like, go get him. Yeah. And we were still, our construction guys, were like, Tal, this is going to be so expensive. I'm like, I don't care. We got to figure it out. We got to we don't have a hotel like everyone in Vegas. Like, we don't have room. Like the Palms, the way it's built is so unique. We don't have much room. And I'm like, I'll find it. I'll figure it out. I went looking everywhere, and finally, I found this garage door, something in the Pearl.
It was like a storage container.
And I was like, Josh, can you work with this? I'm like, this thing opens up, and Matt, I remember did the blueprint of this is how much room you got, Josh, and
I did my best, Josh Videz.
Yeah, you did pretty good. And I remember telling Josh, I'm like, Josh, what are we gonna do here? And you're like, I'm thinking a chapel, and I was like, what? He's like, everyone gets married in Vegas. I was like, yeah, okay. And then a week later, we closed the deal with Billy Idol. Yeah. And that was just it was so weird that Josh said he wants to do that. Then White Wedding, Billy Idol. Yeah. When I told Live Nation I was going to do this, well, he's not going to want anything to do with it. I'm like, I don't care. Yeah. I was like, I'm doing this for Josh. And my PR girls were in love with your stuff. They were, my Emily is she took that thing, and we built this. We built this chapel, and it went
crazy.
Viral.
Yeah.
It was
everywhere.
I would say, besides obviously anything Hearst in this hotel, it was the most talked about thing we did. I remember the bosses were super impressed. You know, like they loved seeing it. You know, from Forbes to whatever. Honestly, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? People are still loving it. People get married in it all the time. It's still here. Josh and I have been talking for over a year that we're going to do like a drop with this thing. We still haven't. But the coolest thing that I saw in the last few months is Billy Idol finally posted a photo in it. And I think it was because it was the first time he actually saw it and was like, this thing's rad, you know, and he posted it, his girl posted it, and I'm like, we made it. A few weeks ago, I sent Josh a photo because on Halloween we had Marilyn Manson here.
That was crazy.
And he posted it, and I was like, damn, Marilyn Manson.
It's probably the most requested thing I get when people come to look here. They're like, can you take me to the
you
chapel?
Can't see it.
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's even cooler to me.
It's a hidden low
I get hit up
gem.
all the time.
I remember I was sitting there
yo,
like,
dude, I'm in the Palms. Where is this thing?
where can I find it? Is it closed?
Is it closed? It's, man, but it's amazing.
I remember when Tall told me that idea. I'd cut you guys off, but I was like, nah, I don't like that. I was like, I didn't believe in it at first. And he's like, wedding chapel.
Well,
I like literally looked at him and I was like,
where Revolve's at now.
Yeah.
And
No,
it was
that's
supposed to be like
of
a
course.
2-month thing.
Yeah. And a 2-month thing. And I was like, I think I talked to Revolve. I'm like, we should do this installation with this guy. And they're like, Revolve was like, my cousin Gil was like, that's not really like us. I'm like, I don't care. This thing's going to be huge. You need to trust me. And then even after, Gil was like, damn, you guys like dropped the mic, you know, with that. Everyone came to that. And it was amazing. And then from there, you kept breaking the internet. Like shit. How much do you think social media has helped your career?
Immensely, you know, it's allowing for the world to see it by a click of a button, you know, in a millisecond. It's crazy to think about the trajectory as an artist that I've experienced in the last 2 years, which, you know, you think about Kaz and Futura and Tekashi, these guys did all that without the internet. Obviously, you see how they're moving now. It's a lot differently. And I talk about this all my wife to my wife all the time. You know, I forget every day. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm gonna fucking, you know, I suck. And she's just like, dude, it's been 2 years. Like 5 years from now,
and there's so much more coming.
You know?
It's amazing to see something like someone like a Sean Stussy. You know, like this happened. You know, like,
amazing,
especially for who we are and what we stand for, and who that guy is for us. And you know, it's just reading the comments, you know, when it was posted, I was like, look at our culture talking
hyped
to Kim Jones. He probably doesn't even know who half the people are that are leaving comments. You know, because Kim Jones is a celebrity. You know, like he's an amazing human. You know, I write Kim Jones all the time. I still haven't gotten a response, but one day I will. I will be having an espresso with that dude in like a year. It's like, remember that time I wrote you like every day? It's like,
that's how it happens.
But that's exactly how it happens. And it's really cool to see where the culture's going, and I'm stoked for you. Like,
yeah, it's gonna be cool. Fortunately, we have some other things in the pipeline, and you know, also at the same time, just trying to not understand, but just trying to move organically through the art world,
of course,
itself.
Because you are a designer by heart. You're not an artist. You are now. And it's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, it is awesome. Like, you haven't even had an art show yet. You know, it's like, you're gonna murder that. You know, I know it's coming. You know, it's gonna be really cool, and I'll be there front row supporting. You know, it's you know, sky's the limit, and it's all coming. My last thing is, like, I already know the kind of kids that are gonna be listening to this. Like, what would be some advice to, you know, I know what you and I have been through in life, and we've lived in cars, and you know, like, what would you advise a kid in high school or just getting out, can't afford college, you know, like, what are some good, like, pointers for someone to be like, don't listen to everything I say, but you know, here are some notes.
I get asked this question a lot, and a lot of the advice that people usually give is advice that everyone hears every day. Right? I think in the last few weeks, I've kind of tried to think about this because I know I'm going to get asked it another million times. I think there's a few things. One is you've probably set your mind and goals based on one specific thing. whether it's working for a brand or whether it's getting a collab with so and so. That's probably not going to happen, and you have to understand that. But also you have to be optimistic that that's not going to happen to make something else happen.
Right.
You know, I think about it all the time, you know, like I would love to be in this museum, and, you know, I'd love to be recognized as this type of artist, you know, before I go out, and like it might not happen. I might not reach that goal.
Right.
And I can't allow that to kill myself because it's this idea that I've created.
Yeah.
That's probably not what I'm set up to be, you know? So that's one thing, is understanding that your lifelong goals are probably not going to happen. Not saying they're not going to happen.
Yeah.
And secondly is, if you don't care about it, it's not going to work out.
Right.
You know, like I care about drawing. I love drawing, and I've always loved drawing.
Right.
And I guess I've been an artist at heart my whole life because I've been drawing my whole life.
Right.
And at first that was representing my creative through a brand.
Yeah.
And then, you know, doing that through installations.
Right.
And now it's kind of like this mix of both. And fortunately, I'm in this position now. But I always cared about it, and it's always brought me back to the same place. You know, it's like, it's because I care about it and I actually really enjoy it. And so it's like, you know, coming out of high school, my mom told me to go be an orthodontist. I was going to do it just because she was like, you're going to go make money, you're going to be good for life. But I knew I couldn't do it.
Right.
You know, I wasn't good at chemistry. I never even passed chemistry.
Right.
You know, I was
chemistry. I did architectural drawing just to get through school.
Yeah. And, you know, and then I became a firefighter, and same thing. I was like, I'm going to be okay for the rest of my life by being a firefighter because I get a check. And so and I hated it. And there's a lot of people out there trying to be a firefighter. That's their dream come true job, you know, and they probably get the job and they fucking love it and they're happy with themselves for the rest of their lives, you know? So obviously care about what energy you want to put into to become that person. And I guess lastly is hope for the best and expect the worst, because I mean, dude, my first like real gut check heartbreak situation was last year that I didn't do. I still think about it. And that was the first time where it's like I was so certain about something, you know, and I had already kind of expected this thing to happen, and I had already put myself in the position of after this thing was gonna, I was so far into this idea and situation and opportunity being done that when it didn't happen, it was dark. It was very dark, and I was sad, and I was just like thinking about my entire life in like not a good way, you know, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what did I just do? You know, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, that really woke me up, because even to now, last week, we're trying to close this deal, but I'm at the position now where I'm like, this might not happen.
Yeah. And it's not, it is about the money, but sometimes it's just.
Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, it's like going into your dream job, taking the interview, and already thinking about like, damn, what's my desk gonna look like?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna, you know, I'm at, where am I gonna sit in the fucking, like, you can't think that way, because if you get shot down, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt really bad.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like the Griswolds when he spends the money for the pool and then doesn't get the bonus check and he can't buy the pool.
So I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned in the last 2 years is just hope for the best, but also be very, very prepared for the worst to happen, you know, because shit just isn't supposed to happen sometimes, you know. And there's many times where, you know, for perfect example, I thought I was going to get the design job for the 100th. I was like, this is my lifelong goal. This is my dream. It's about to happen. And then Ben's like, you're not good enough for us. And it's like, you know,
It's a gut check for sure.
So many people could have been easily defeated with like some of the L's along your journey. You know, like some of those losses, you could have been like easily thrown in the towel.
Dude, I
like,
went to jail.
done. Yeah.
I went to jail for stealing from Zoomies.
Yeah.
I thought that was the end of my life.
Yeah.
You know, I came out and then Hat Club, I had a side job at Hat Club. They fired me because Zoomies found out. I wanted to work for Active, then Active fired me because they found out. Now I'm sitting in Rancho Cucamonga at my mom's house. I'm like, I can't work retail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like streetwear, which is where I want to be.
My life. It's
so
the
then
Mecca.
actually, I went to go make windows for my uncle for a couple months. It was the only job that I could get because word had spread.
Yeah, of course.
So crazy.
Josh is stealing from companies. So I'm there making windows, bro. That was when I got the call from John.
Yeah.
Fortunately. But yeah, there's 1,000,000%. There's a million times where I could have just been depressed for the rest of my life and thought about it. I just had to move on, you know.
This is still coming from the guy that sold over 1,000 shoes for Converse.
30,000.
30,000.
Yeah.
30,000.
Yeah, you know, and like Converse let me do what I wanted to do. And I was very happy with the shoe. I felt so much better doing that project, you know, like that was me. Yeah. That shoe is me.
When you did that shoe, did when you went and presented it to Converse, were they kind of like, wait, we wanted the lines and the outlines.
I mean, yes, of course.
We don't want color.
But they understood, you know, because my whole thing was like, I have to do everything unexpected. Yeah. I can't just keep doing this. And I have to also have people understand that I am good at other things.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to just say. Josh is a creative director. He's so much more than just this black and white. I've known Josh longer than this black and white, you know, thing that's become like such a crazy thing for him. The Converse thing was like, it seemed like you were stepping out of comfort, but you didn't. This is just one idea that got brought to reality, you know, so.
And it was dope.
And it was fucking dope.
No. Super dope.
You know, so, but that's it, you know. Thanks, Josh, we're going to call this thing Bad News, so.
Nice.
Thanks for coming.
I did want to touch on this before you set up. It's like super easy to look at social media and think it's like a crazy easy journey, you know, because you don't see all the downfalls or the pitfalls or how much he goes into it. Like when you watch, if you go to your page and you like scroll through
it's
it, like
beautiful
it looks
page.
like, oh wow, look at this guy's life story, is so simple and nice and beautiful, put together.
No way.
So it's kind of crazy. I think you gotta like sometimes step away from the social media look and be like, oh man, there's probably a lot of pitfalls in this journey.
That's everybody. Think about. I mean, we were talking to Josh yesterday about even Shoe Dog. This, you know, the book is just like Phil Knight.
Yeah,
was
a lot
not
of struggles.
Nike was not happening.
Yeah, sounds all
for 20 years. You know, so
I think I'll tell you, and I'll openly admit to this is like, I think right now it's like a good job of keeping my brand identity strong.
Yep.
And it's tough, man. My
brand
Instagram
integrity.
to look the way that you got my shit. My shit's legit.
Yeah.
Like there is no like question mark of like, why the fuck did he? And it's hard, man. You know what I'm saying? Like again, I got 3 kids. Yeah. You know, I got to put money on the table. And sometimes these brands come, they're like, here's this, but you got to look like an idiot. And it's like, you know, people don't understand that. It's fucking really hard to say no to that because it's longevity, right?
Yeah.
So much bullshit I could have done.
So you guys get this for now, but I got to live with this forever.
There's so much bullshit I could have done this year and the year before and looked like a complete idiot. And I wouldn't be having these conversations with, I want to be having these conversations with the MCA, you know, Converse wouldn't want to be wanting to come back and et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, it's also keeping your brand integrity strong and, you know, you got to turn shit down sometimes, you know.
It's awesome.
For the better of you. So, yeah.
People need to hear that.
Yeah. Well, they heard it. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah,
Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it, man.